Hello, I'm the Positivity Critic, and I review it so you can watch it. And welcome to my very first episode. Now, there's an old saying, you never know if you like something till you actually tried it. Of course, that's not saying there isn't plenty of stuff out there that you should never try under any circumstances, like drugs or smoking or alcohol or other stuff that I can't even talk about here. But there's also plenty of stuff out there that's good to try, like a certain vegetable, or a certain dish, or a certain sport, or a certain pastime or hobby. But unbeknownst to a lot of people, there's a third kind. Stuff that's good to try, but is so unusual and unheard of that we don't know what to think of it when it appears. And we're going to talk about one such example today. You see, it all started back when...
Ahem! Are you forgetting someone?
Yeah, I did. Everyone, I want you to meet Stanley. Hello everyone, my name is Stanley, and on this show I serve as the critic's helpful assistant. Yeah, well that's a false statement, because you barely assist me and you're never helpful! You say that now, critic, but just you wait. Now where was I? Oh yes, and we're here to talk about one such example today. Now, ever since it became obvious that I was a boy... Stanley! I made a promise to myself that I would only like, well, what everyone believes guys should like. And, to be honest, for the first 20 years of my life, I kept that promise to a T. Let me guess, critic. You broke it. No, Stanley. I didn't break my promise. I took it, I broke it, I smashed it, I ground it up into powder, I mixed it up into water like Kool-Aid, and then guzzled it all down! Now, you're probably wondering what I could have done for me to use such a graphic metaphor like that. But, let's face it, there's no possible way I can tell you, so I'm just gonna have to come out and show you. Oh boy, this is not gonna be easy. Strange, isn't it? But you know what's really strange? I'm not at all ashamed of it. I'm not even the littlest bit embarrassed. And why is that? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about today.
Oh, this should be good.
See, it all started way back just a few weeks after my 20th birthday in the early June of 2011. I was browsing YouTube videos as I normally did when I came across something that I did not recognize. And of course, being the curious type, I decided to find out what it was. It turned out to be a fan-made video of the show, of which began to appear around this time, with a link to a full-length episode. Now, what I normally would have done was to close my browser, open it back up, delete my history, and pretend I never came across it. But as you may have guessed, that's not what happened. As I was watching the episode, now becoming fully aware of what I was getting into, I realized two major things. One, the show was really good. And second, I enjoyed it. Those two realizations were the equivalent of a baseball coming straight at me and whacking me in the forehead. And then before I had time to recover, a brick came up and hit me in the exact same place. Except, maybe far less painful. So at this point, I didn't know how I should feel. And really, who could blame me? I mean, you don't go your entire life believing one thing only to have it disproven in an instant without feeling something. So I did the only thing that I could. Learn all the facts so I could make a decision. And what I discovered was I was far from the only person of my age and gender who enjoyed this show. So once I had gotten all the facts I could, and thought them all over, and considered everything, I came to the conclusion that my reasons for enjoying the show were just, reasonable, and completely true. Maybe it was because the characters were likable and well-developed with three-dimensional personalities. Maybe it was because the animation was nice and colorful. Maybe it was because the writing was creative and top-notch. Or maybe it was because that so many other cartoons these days are so awful that this one is really good by comparison! But whatever the reasons, this show is a lot better than the other stuff they've come up with over the years. Now, of course, I don't know that for sure because I've never actually seen any of the past stuff, nor will I ever, so I just take other people's word for it. So with the first season behind me and my decision made, I eagerly awaited the second season. Wow, I never thought I'd be doing that. But no matter. So starting on September 17th of the same year, 2011, and ending on April 21st of the next year, 2012, it was really good, and I enjoyed it. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's math problem solving time!
Math time!
We're going to take the start and end dates of the first and second seasons and see if we can estimate when the third season would begin. So grab your pens and pencils, grab your calculator and a pad of paper, whatever, and let's get started. Did you try to figure it out? Well, Stanley did at least. So let's see how close we got. The third season began on November 10th? November 10th! Oh, November 10th. November 10th.
Wow. All I can say is my guess was way off.
But I'm sure they had a good reason for making us wait so long. Maybe they were just tired and needed a well-deserved break. Maybe they need more time to come up with new and better ideas. But you'll want to know what I personally think the reason was? I think the reason is because the cast and crew were busy working on another TV adaptation to another toy line. And what could that possibly be? The Littlest Pet Shop. Now, don't give me that look as if you have no clue what I'm talking about. You've all seen the commercials at least a bajillion times. Now, it's weird. The Littlest Pet Shop has done a much better job at advertising and promoting. But it's taken them this long to make a series? Well, better late than never, I guess. And it's probably good. In fact, I might give it a try one of these days.
What?
Hey, there was a time I wouldn't have given something like this a second glance, much less an actual chance. But now... Nah, still not gonna do it. So, the third season began on November 10th, 2012, and ended on February 16th of 2013. Now, it failed to impress, but that's mostly because it was only half the size of the previous two seasons, and was over fairly quickly. So now I had to wait for the next season. But at least I could be comforted with the fact that they wouldn't make us wait as long this time. Could they have forced us to wait any longer? Dang it, I discovered this thing far too early. I mean, making us wait the bulk of an entire year? What were they thinking? I mean, sure, they had a full-length spin-off movie coming the following summer, which should have helped, but it didn't. And the third season only had 13 episodes, which also didn't help. And to top it all off, the season ended on a note that concerned many fans, including myself, as to the future of the show. And we had to wait all this time just to find out that our fears never actually came true, which really didn't help, so... You really gotta ask yourself, was it really worth it? Did all that patience and waiting really pay off? Oh, yes it did! I love the fourth season. Most of my favorite episodes come from it. Of course, I wouldn't have known that if I'd just given up, which would have been so easy for me. I could have been like, yeah, it was good while it lasted, but I'm not going to put up with this anymore. No, I didn't. You want to know why? You want to know why I waited for months on end for each new season? Why I waited week after week for each new episode? Why I gave it chance after chance after chance? Well, I'll tell you, it's because I was impressed.
Impressed?
Well, yeah. I mean, a group of people come together and take a franchise that was never all that good to begin with and just got worse over time, and then suddenly turned it into something more successful, popular, and all around better than it could ever have hoped to be before. How could you not be impressed? Now, before I wrap this up, I want to lay down some facts. You see, this isn't the kind of show that you can get a firm grasp of by just watching the first episode, or the latest episode, or even just any random episode. I had to see the entire first season before I came to a decision. Now, I'm not saying you have to go that far, but just enough till you get a good feeling of what the show is actually like. Now, you're free to any opinions you have on it, but there are two things I believe most of us can agree on. First of all, it's definitely an improvement over the past stuff they've done under this franchise's name. And second, of all the things they've done under the name of the franchise, this is the one that definitely deserves a fair chance. And that's my review. I'm the Positivity Critic, and stay tuned. There's a lot more good stuff on the way.
Well, the critic does make a great argument. I guess this proves that with enough love and effort, you can make even something like this good. Let's see how good he thinks the next thing he has to review is gonna be. Stay tuned. There's more Positivity Critic on the way.